What's up, guys? Boy, Benny. If you were to summarize Joe Biden's re-election strategy, I would give you, well, this meme. Joe Biden effectively copying some of the most popular ideas of Donald Trump. And what did we see Donald Trump do just 2 weeks ago?
Will you pardon Julian Assange?
Well, I'm going to talk about that today, and we're going to give it very serious consideration. And we're going to have a couple of other things to say in the speech that I think you're going to love.
I've heard some rumors.
And you've gotten so much out of me, I should leave a little bit for the speech, don't you think?
Mr. President, it is an honor and a privilege. I really do appreciate you sitting
down
with me.
And you're very respected, I have to say. When I did a little research, and some of my guys said, and I met you before, but they said just a very respected guy. It's my.
So, okay, got it. All right. So Donald Trump thinks that Tim Pool is very respected. We respect Tim Pool, and also we respect the fact that Julian Assange is now free. Did Donald Trump free Julian Assange? Not exactly sure, but he certainly said there that he's going to look very, very strongly at pardoning Julian Assange, and lo and behold, well, a few weeks later, Julian Assange walks free. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to walk free from UK jail after agreeing to plea deal with US spying charges in deal with Biden Justice Department. 12 years after he fled to Ecuador embassy to avoid sex crime quiz. I don't even understand what that is. Okay, let's read. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is expected to plead guilty this week to violating U.S. espionage law in a deal that could end his imprisonment in Britain and allow him to return home to Australia. U.S. prosecutors filed criminal paperwork against Assange 52. That is typically a preliminary step before a plea deal. In the agreement, prosecutors will look for a 62-month sentence, the same amount of time that Assange has already served in a high-security prison in London while fighting extradition to the United States. The plea deal still needs to be approved by a federal judge, but if it is approved, it would give him credit for time served, allowing Assange to immediately return home to Australia and be a free man. In recent months, President Joe Biden has hinted at a possible deal being pushed by officials in the Australian government to return Assange back to his homeland. The deal outlines a single criminal count for conspiring to obtain and disclose classified national security documents, according to the filings of the U.S. District Court in the Northern Mariana Islands. Okay, so we're going to get to why he's going to the Mariana Islands here in just a second. First, ladies and gentlemen, this is the free Julian Assange walking to his plan. I mean, a remarkable thing to see. The man has been effectively imprisoned or on the run from authorities, seeking to escape the claws and jaws of the United States security apparatus and intel agencies for the better part of 15 years. And what was his crime? Well, his crime was doing what every single corporate media entity does day and night, night and day, with the blessing of the blob. So if it's information that our Justice Department and our spy agencies want out, information that could embarrass Donald Trump, information that could embarrass other nations, but it's classified, they'll hand it directly to the New York Times, the Washington Post, ABC, NBC, CBS. All of these outlets get full room to run with classified information. They are dumping classified information day and night onto the American people. In fact, they're literally rigging classified information. We found out this morning in Donald Trump's document cases. The FBI is going in and asphyxing little classified cover sheets to information. Then they're taking photos of it all over the ground and leaking it to the press. So if it can hurt their enemies, then they're perfectly happy to have classified information out there. But Julian Assange released information that just hurt the people in Washington and hurt the game in Washington, which is what?
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal. I.e., the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
An endless war, not a successful war. Man, what, does that ring true? Does that ever ring a bell? Okay, so here we go. From WikiLeaks, Julian Assange is free. Julian Assange is free. He left Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison on the morning of 24 June, having spent 1,900 days there. He was granted bail by the High Court of London and was released to the airport. He boarded a plane and departed the UK. This is a result of a global campaign that spanned grassroots organizers, press freedom campaigners, legislators, and leaders from across the political spectrum all the way to the United Nations. This created a space for a long period of negotiations with the U.S. Department of Justice, leading to a deal that has not yet been formally finalized. We'll provide more information. Again, this is coming directly from WikiLeaks. After more than 5 years in a small cell, isolated for 23 hours a day, he will soon reunite with his wife and their children, who have not known their father from behind bars. I think he has like an 8-year-old child, Julian Assange, that he's, I think, spent like maybe hours with. WikiLeaks published groundbreaking stories of government corruption and human rights abuses, holding powerful into account for their actions. Julian paid severely for these for principles and for people's right to know. As he returns to Australia, we thank all of those who fought, remaining utterly committed to the fight for freedom. Julian's freedom is our freedom. Yes, Julian Assange's crime is that he reported, not that he reported classified information, but that he reported information that embarrassed our ruling elites.
Embarrassed virtually everyone in power in Washington. He published documents that undermined the official story on the Iraq War and Afghanistan. He got Debbie Wasserman Schultz fired from the DNC. He humiliated Hillary Clinton by showing that the Democratic primaries were in fact rigged. Pretty much everyone in Washington has reason to hate Julian Assange. Rather than just admit that straightforwardly, he made us look like buffoons, so now we're sending him to prison. Instead, they're denouncing him as, you guessed it, a Russian agent.
Yeah, got it. All right, so what's next for Julian? Why is Julian Assange being tried on an island near Guam? Julian Assange will plead guilty to conspiracy charges in Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Saipan, sorry, this is the first time I've seen this word. Saipan is a U.S. territory, U.S. Pacific territory in the Pacific Ocean, chosen for its logistical, close to Australia, and jurisdictional reasons. It offers a federal court capable of handling high-profile cases remotely. The island's remote location provides necessary security and infrastructure for a significant case, minimizing media and public disruption. Assange's case involves one of the largest leaks of classified documents in U.S. history, requiring special judicial handling. The court will reportedly immediately sentence him to time served, allowing his release to Australia by tomorrow night. So this is where he's going, right here. If you're a geography whiz, you'll note that this is really close to Australia. This is definitely in the region of Australia. And this is sort of what it looks like here. Julian Assange to be freed, hopefully in hours, actually. Wednesday. So it's tomorrow. Again, this is him actually walking onto his plane. It's remarkable. Again, they're just copying Donald. They're copying Donald Trump's plan. Hillary Clinton considered a drone attack on Julian Assange, and it wasn't just Democrats. Mike Pompeo wanted to kill Julian Assange inside of the Trump administration. Flashback from executive producer ALX, WikiLeaks exposes former CNN host and DNC chair Donna Brazile for leaking town hall question to Hillary Clinton. Now this week, CNN is trying to gaslight the American people, saying that its moderators aren't biased. Yeah. Incredible. Look at that. I completely forgot that Hillary Clinton. So this is from Donna Brazile. So this is the email from Donna Brazile. One of the questions directed to Hillary Clinton tomorrow is from a woman with a rash from Flint, Michigan. So here she is leaking the questions and leaking the information. How corrupted are our officials? Of course, Mike Pence doesn't like all of this, and that exactly proves to you the point that we've been making for a very long time, which is that there are so many bad actors around Donald Trump and so many bad actors around Donald Trump 1.0, and we must eradicate the number of people who are willing to subvert the will of Donald Trump and the will of the people, because all Julian Assange did was what everyone else would consider reporting. Okay, you may not like what he released, you may not like the fact that America often are the baddies when it comes to fields of war and fields of espionage, and turning the tools of espionage in on the American people, which is something that Julian Assange exposed, along with Edward Snowden. You may not like what they exposed, But sunlight is the best disinfectant. It's better to live on your feet than die on your knees in darkness. And it's important to actually understand who we are fighting. And it's really important to like break out of the fog of thinking that the United States government acts in the interests of the people of the United States. That hasn't been the case for the better part of 100 years. No, they act in the interest of a bunch of elites who were humiliated by Julian Assange, and that's why they were trying to kill him for doing what everybody else would just call journalism, something that the New York Times does every single day, which is release classified information. So yeah, if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all, and we are very happy that the standard now is that Julian Assange will be released, thank God, and will hopefully go back to living peacefully, and also to making sure that we have knowledge as the American people and as a global population. We have knowledge about what these evil organizations are doing on our behalf, because they do it all in our name. And it's time for all of us to say no. And this starts, of course, with sunlight as the best disinfectant. So we celebrate Julian Assange's release on this program, and pray fast his safe return to his family. It's your boy Benny. Live free, ladies and gentlemen. Live free or die, as the old saying goes. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.